Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight. I'm Roger Johnson. Our top story this evening. Lancashire's County Council leader calls for Nightingale-style asylum centres as other councils consider legal action over using hotels. It follows yesterday's High Court ruling, of course, temporarily blocking migrants from a hotel in Essex. Also tonight, heartache for heritage campaigners after a listed manor house in Liverpool is destroyed by fire. A father's thank you to Derrien House as a documentary about the Chorley Children's Hospice gets an international release.
When I used to say, oh, Khalil's going to the hospice this weekend, we'd get, I'm so sorry, but it wasn't sorry, it was amazing. He's coming to have the best time.
We meet the Manchester makeup maestro who grew her bedroom business into a multi-million-pound beauty empire, all thanks to her mum.
Oh, I had a mum that had me at 15 years old and she showed me that with 5 children I can still be whoever I want to be.
And it's been another typically August day, hasn't it? Quite a lot of cloud, but dry. Very similar conditions over the next few days. All the details coming up at the end of the programme.
The leader of Lancashire County Council today called on the government to set up a Nightingale-style accommodation bases, similar to the temporary hospitals that we saw during the pandemic, to house asylum seekers instead of hotels. It follows yesterday's High Court ruling temporarily blocking the use of an Essex hotel to house migrants. And the ruling means that other councils are now considering legal action to get asylum seekers moved out of their hotels. Yunus Muller has this report.
A summer of protest and counter-demonstrations, and asylum seeker hotels a focus of strong feelings. But will more legal action follow after a district council in Essex, where there has been violent disorder, was given a temporary injunction to block asylum seekers lodging at a hotel? In South Ribble, this hotel has been used for 100 people since 2022. The council leader here is clear what he intends to do.
We never wanted it to be used in this way in the first place. When it was imposed on us by the previous government, we were quite clear that our preference was for it to be used as a commercial hotel. I'm hoping that we won't have to use taxpayers' money taking the government to court. If there seems a route through this where we can go back to the government and say, look at what's happened in Epping, we think we've got an argument to say that's the same in South Ribble.
If asylum seekers are moved out of hotels, could they be put in HMOs, a house in multiple occupation? The government having around 5,000 places here across the county. The leader of reform-run Lancashire County Council is taking action to stop that, but he wants new accommodation used.
During the pandemic we had these Nightingale hospitals that sprung up in days. I'm sure we have enough land on military bases, etc., to create Nightingale accommodation where these people can be taken whilst they're processed.
Most councils we have spoken to want to review yesterday's decision before deciding on their next steps. The government says it intends to stop using hotels by 2029.
We'll see what happens, and of course it's for local and district councils to take a view about whether they want to bring forward legal proceedings. The big challenge remains, which is we need to process asylum claims much more speedily and much more effectively than was the case previously.
Refugee Action told us today that ministers' priority must be to make sure people seeking asylum are housed in dignity and kept safe from the relentless threat of violence and harassment by the far right and opportunist politicians. In Leyland, the hotel is mainly used for families.
If I told you that there's no reported incidents of any crime around the Leyland Hotel associated with the asylum seekers over the last 3 years, you know, misinformation is really killing us here, and we need to work together to come up with a resolution.
Shame on you! Shame on you! But it's unlikely we've seen the last of the protests. Yunus Muller, BBC North West, Tonight, Leyland.
Now, campaigners who had been hoping to preserve Liverpool's historic Walton Hall say that they are devastated that it's been destroyed by fire. Dozens of firefighters were called out last night when a blaze took hold of the Grade 1 listed building, which had been abandoned. Dan O'Donoghue sent this from the scene.
Woolton Hall up in flames. You can hear the wooden beams of the 300-year-old building crack and snap in the intense heat. Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service were called to the scene shortly after 8 p.m. on Tuesday. When crews arrived, they found the two-storey building fully engulfed in flames. Drone footage captured as the fire raged last night appeared to show the hall's roof partially collapsed. The blaze was eventually extinguished at around 2 a.m. Firefighters and police have been on the scene here in South Liverpool all day, investigating the cause of the blaze. We've been told that investigation is likely to continue into tomorrow.
The roof had collapsed in, flames had breached the roof about 30 foot up into the air, and we had flames come from all the windows on all sides of the building, so a very, very significant fire. A joint investigation between Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service and Merseyside Police will commence once it is safe to do so, and we will have resources on scene potentially for the next 24 hours. Those who campaign to save the hall say they're devastated.
I just think it's a loss to the community. I think it's a loss to South Liverpool.
Do you feel angry this morning?
I don't feel angry. I feel a little bit disappointed that we'd campaigned for so long. We tried to raise awareness, and it should have got more scope. It should have got more reaction, but some things are just not meant to be.
The hall was for sale for a few £1 million, and we really hoped that someone would buy it and restore it and return it to its former glory. It's all very sad.
The hall was built in 1704 and previously served as a hotel, an army hospital, a convent and a school, but had fallen into disrepair in recent years. The building previously caught fire in 2019 and the incident was treated as an arson attack by police. While there are still questions over the cause of this fire, the devastation left is clear to see. Dan O'Donoghue, BBC North West Tonight.
A real shame to see that story. We will, of course, continue to follow what happens next for Woolton Hall. Here are some of the other stories that are making headlines in the North West tonight. And the husband of a young mum who was killed when she pushed her daughter out of the way from a falling tree branch in Blackburn has paid tribute to the most beautiful woman in the world. Madia Corza was struck while walking with her husband and 2 children in Witton Country Park last week. A police helicopter crew won't face disciplinary action after flying at low altitude to chase a suspect on a scrambler bike in St Helens. The chopper was deployed after reports of a bike being ridden dangerously near Carmill Dam. A review by the National Police Air Service found that the crew had acted appropriately. More than 2,000 bus workers on Greater Manchester's B network, including drivers, are being balloted on strike action over pay. The Unite union says it's in dispute with 3 operators, Stagecoach, First Bus and Metroline, who are all part of the network. The result of the vote is due next month. We often talk about waiting times in the region's A&E departments on the programme, don't we? And new figures show that more of our hospitals are struggling than in other parts of the country. We also have some of the worst hospitals for cancer and elective surgery waits, but we also have some of the best. So 9 of our hospitals are now getting special help as the NHS prepares for what I'm sure will be another tough winter. And we're going to hear from the North West's Regional Medical Director shortly. First, though, our health correspondent, Jill Dummigan, is here. She's been taking a look at all these numbers, and you've got more details, Jill.
Roger, well, if you remember, last winter was a pretty brutal one for many patients sitting in this region's A&Es and the staff treating them. Several hospital trusts in Merseyside declared critical incidents. A Freedom of Information request put in by us earlier this year found more than 38,500 people waiting more than a day in A&E in 2024, often because there were no beds for them. 1,000 longer than 3 days. So how's this year shaping up? Well, new NHS figures show it's a bit of a mixed bag. A new list's been published of the 22 trusts needing the highest level of national help to deal with long waits in A&E, and 7 of those 22 are from the North West, the majority of them from Cheshire. These are hospitals which are struggling to get patients through A&E and either admitted to hospital or discharged, often because of a lack of community and social care in that area. Now, the NHS has ranked these hospitals. The higher the number, the worse it is. And you can see some hospitals are really struggling. East Cheshire Trust, worst in the country for getting people through the system within 4 hours. Blackpool, proportionally, more people waiting more than 12 hours than anywhere else. Now, there's also a similar list for trusts struggling with non-urgent care, elective surgery, cancer diagnosis and treatment, diagnostics. And again, out of 29 hospital trusts needing the highest level of support, 5 are from the North West, a disproportionate number. Although we did have some success stories, patients going to Bolton Trust for cancer diagnosis and care were, on average, seen faster than anywhere else in the country. And no one getting elective care in Tameside and Glossop had to wait more than a year for it, the best result in England. But getting back to emergency care, we're in the second half of August. Winter preparations in the NHS are well underway. Numerous schemes are being run to relieve the pressure on hospitals, and the question is anything going to work in time to stop a repeat of last year, particularly those huge waits in A&E?
Jill, thank you very much. Jill Dummigan there, our health correspondent. Well, Dr Michael Gregory is the NHS's North West Medical Director. He told me a little earlier that planning for this winter, as we've mentioned, started earlier than normal, and extra support is being given to some hospitals.
By bringing good examples of practice from around the country, we can embed that in those trusts that we currently recognise as needing some support. So as an example, we've been doing some work with some trusts on ambulance handovers, and since we've introduced that, we've already found that we've released about 2,000 hours of ambulance time across the North West. So that's ambulances back on the road and being able to go out and see people and respond to 999 calls.
As always, with this situation, it relies for people to get off the ambulances at A&E, through the A&E and onto the wards. It requires people to be going home from the wards. And that leads us to the question we talk about all the time, social care. How bad is that? And how desperate is it that we get that fixed before hospitals can operate as well as possible?
So we work very closely with our partners in local authorities and in places to try and make sure we release as many social care beds as we possibly can, especially ahead of winter. But we recognise the problems that they have and the knock-on effect that has in the NHS. However, saying that, we do know that all trusts face this problem and that some manage it better than others, and that's why we offer this intensive support to try and help those that don't manage the flow of patients through their departments as well, to adopt the best practice and at least get people to move through onto the wards as quickly as possible.
So you're confident that this winter hopefully will be better?
Well, we can only plan for the best that we can with the resources we have, and we're going to put these plans through rigorous testing next month, and we can only then hope that those plans work when winter comes round.
Dr Michael Gregory, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Now, if you've been watching the programme, you'll know that all this month we've been taking a closer look at the issues which affect rural communities. And today we're going to focus on rural deprivation. Because while the surrounding scenery and the landscapes, of course, are often beautiful, I was in the lakes this morning, it's absolutely gorgeous, there are a number of issues and challenges which people living in rural towns and villages face. And these include things like a lack of public transport, job opportunities and fuel poverty. Our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson, sent this report from Grange over Sands in Cumbria.
This is a food club in Grange over Sands. These vegetables were going to be binned by the food industry, but there's nothing wrong with them, so they've been redistributed. Residents can pay £5 and then shop here.
Food club is nothing to do with money. It's to do with taking environmental action. It's about saying we care about the planet.
The main reason we come here is because of the amount of waste that companies have with food and stuff. They throw it all away.
But the charity has found itself at the forefront of tackling poverty and isolation in this rural community.
We do live in this beautiful place, and it's like a little playground for a lot of people. You know, they come up here, 16 million of them a year, and have a good time. But servicing all those tourists are the local people who are cleaning, catering and caring, the 3 C's, not well paid, 0 hours, no holiday pay, no promotion, no sick pay.
There are now 20 food clubs all over the South Lakes. As well as feeding people, the charity provides an emergency service, visiting and supporting families and individuals who find themselves at crisis point.
We go into houses where it's damp, it's cold, there's no carpets on the floors, children are sleeping on sofas, never had beds,
Recent studies have shown that many rural areas have hidden pockets of deprivation because they're masked by surrounding affluent areas.
It's very, very difficult to find affordable housing. I mean, you know, the rents are, because since COVID, you know, a lot of people realised when they were working at home that they didn't actually have to live in a big city. And, you know, they'd come on holiday to the lakes and thought, oh, you know, if I sell my house in London, I could move up here, buy a nice house and, you know, just work from home. And that has really hit the housing market.
While the charity helps the most vulnerable, everyone is welcome to use Food Club to do their bit for the planet.
Even if you're well off, you know, you can still come to Food Share and enjoy meeting other people and filling your fridge up.
If communities could do something like this, then surely that's going to be beneficial for everyone and the planet.
In rural communities, older people can struggle with isolation too. Food hubs like this can be a lifeline for support.
We might be the only, dare I say, happy face or concerned. We're you know, if we haven't seen them for a couple of weeks, we'll be phoning them to check they're okay.
Lyndon works for a similar project in Ulverston.
We're like a wraparound support service. We want people to know that a lot of our volunteers and staff, they've had lived experience of food insecurity as well.
Today's Food Club is followed by a community meal. A brief moment to relax for a team which offers vital support to our rural communities.
We're tackling poverty in a lot of different ways through the project. We're fed up with poverty. It's outrageous, it's a disgrace, and it really shouldn't be happening.
Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight, Grange-over-Sands.
Some really good work being done by many people in many places. We'll continue with Judy's series tomorrow. We're going to look at a project to tackle loneliness in the Lancashire village of Nether Kellet. Right, here are some of the other stories that people are reading from BBC News tonight. And a new sexual assault centre on the Isle of Man will open next year. The £3.3 million facility will remove the need for some victims to leave the island for help. A man has been banned from going into Cheshire pending his sentencing for trying to steal an inflatable hot tub from B&Q in Crewe. He had apparently previously pinched things from the store. And Noel Gallagher says his brother Liam has been amazing on the Oasis reunion tour. After years of acrimony, the band is now in Toronto for a gig on Sunday. You can find out more at bbc.co.uk/local news, or of course you can always have a look on the BBC News app. Quick bit of football for you. There is another gong to go into this chap's trophy cabinet at home. Mo Salah, of course, the Liverpool striker, was named Men's Player of the Year at the PFA Awards in Manchester last night. He is the first to win the award 3 times after his key role, of course, in this most recent Liverpool title success.
I just want to thank everybody who voted for me. Doing that in Premier League and in that age, 33 now, so it's incredible. But also I look at myself now like a guy coming from Egypt and make it to the top level, make a history today, so it's something make me so proud.
33, it's just a whippersnapper. Now, Darien House in Chorley is one of 54 children's hospices in the UK. It supports more than 400 youngsters from right across the northwest. It's well known in this part of the world, of course. But from Friday, Darien House will be known far and wide because a documentary about it will be streamed on Amazon Prime across the United States and the UK. It was made for just £15,000 in TV terms. That is a drop in the ocean. And it is the work of a dad from Skelmersdale who made it because he wanted to say thank you for the care that Darien House gave his son.
Then we walked in and it was bright and joyful.
It's a very, very unique place to come to work. Everybody in this hospice and hospices around the country, palliative care with children, end-of-life care, I think that they are very special people.
And that's what inspired The Little Things, a need for Paul to use his filmmaking skills to say thank you. His son, Kal-El, was born with complex medical needs. He received years of care and love here before he died.
When I used to say, oh, Kal-El's going to the hospice this weekend, we'd get, I'm so sorry, but it wasn't sorry, it was amazing. He's coming to have the best time and make the most amazing memories, you know?
Darien celebrated its 30th anniversary 2 summers ago. I filmed there just after the documentary crew had finished The Little Things. It's their first film, and the 29-year-old director juggled filming it with working night shifts on the reception desk at a Premier Inn.
It's been quite a surreal experience, to be honest, and something that I'm really grateful for.
Still pinching yourself?
Pinching myself is, yeah, there's been so many pinch me moments along the way. Even just seeing like the poster on the side of a bus, it's just crazy to kind of process.
It costs £6 million a year to run Darien House, in common with all hospices serving all ages. Most of that has to be generated through fundraising. A bit of global publicity might help.
It's about spreading awareness. It's about bringing the magic and the joy of the children's hospice world right into people's living rooms, breaking down some of the stigma about what children's hospices are, and creating hope, I guess, for the future, and reminding people just how important the little things are.
Okay.
And they're the things which make places like Darien House so special.
As soon as I heard the word hospice, it was no.
We've got people in this film who have gone through the most unbelievable situations, but then they've gone on to do the most amazing things, you know, run a marathon, jump off a plane, raise tens of thousands of pounds, and they'll do that support because of, you know, the positivity of Darien House. They don't fall back.
There was a music therapy session underway when we were filming. It's a common sound in children's hospices up and down the country. But they're almost unknown in the US, where The Little Things will also be streamed. Who knows? It could inspire change there, making Darien House a big noise stateside too.
The people that occupy this place, everyone's just got a smile on their face and a hello to say, and when you learn about the stories and the people here, overall I found it incredibly rewarding.
As a dad who wants to say thank you, it's incredible. I don't know how people get used to this in the big time. I don't know how they ever get used to this feeling, because it's absolutely remarkable.
Not bad for a first film. Can't wait to watch it as well. The film about Darien House streams on Amazon Prime from Friday, The Little Things. Now, from one inspiring story to another, this is Paige Williams. She grew up on a council estate at Droylsden in Manchester, but she had a dream, and now the entrepreneur who started her beauty brand, P. Louise, in her bedroom with a loan from her grandma, is set to open a makeup superstore in the Trafford Centre, no less. Annie Knowlson has been to see her today.
This is Paige. Paige had a dream to build a giant pink empire.
Meet Paige Williams, the founder of P. Louise, a beauty brand and makeup academy. Thanks to her bright ideas, it's claimed that Paige's company is now worth £100 million. It has more than 3 million followers on TikTok. But life wasn't always so pink and perfect. Growing up on a council estate in Droylsden, the makeup mogul spent most of her childhood helping to care for her 5 brothers and left school with no qualifications.
Well, I had a mum that had me at 15 years old and she was doubted. She wanted to be a nurse and she got her degree. And she showed me that with 5 children, I can still be whoever I want to be.
After years of experience as a makeup artist, in 2018 she was able to open a salon thanks to a £20,000 loan from her nan.
And we was working till 4 a.m. There was nobody that didn't get approved. If you wanted a wedding and then it was park life, we did the lot. So we never closed our books. I'm very ambitious and I was looking for the next door opening. And at that point it was teaching. I was one of the first people to launch online tutorials.
Begin by giving yourself a stencil outline.
But we was doing them in mass and we had hashtags like Beans for Life because all of us was on the breadline, but we all wanted to make this career work. So we said, we're all living off baked beans till we make our careers work.
Paige noticed gaps in the market and wanted to make more affordable products. Now P. Louise is one of the fastest growing brands in the UK. The current headquarters is in Stockport, but in October a store will be opening next to the Trafford Centre. So a lot of your brand really appeals to children and young people. Are you concerned about the pressures they face today when it comes to wearing makeup and their appearance?
We don't promote makeup as much as it's hard to believe when you walk into a pink world that is surrounded by cosmetics. I think that's because we want to push people able to experiment with cosmetics, but it doesn't have to be heavy makeup. I don't wear makeup day to day and I own a cosmetic brand. You actually see me most of the time barefaced. I just didn't have the confidence to sit behind a camera today without a full face. And that is what the internet has done to the world, where we feel like we always have to look and feel our best at all times. But you've really got to learn to love yourself.
Paige hopes her story will inspire others to turn their dreams into a reality. Annie Olsen, BBC North West Tonight, Stockport.
And we wish her all the best. A makeup superstar who doesn't wear makeup every day. I wish I could say the same.
You're always dolled up to the nines, Rog, aren't you?
Anyway, Abby, how's the weather looking?
It's been very cloudy today, hasn't it? Thank you to our weather watchers for capturing the clouds as per usual. A great name as well, Bay Clicky Roller, sent this photo in from Morecambe. If you take a weather photo over the next few days and you would like to send it in to us here at North West Tonight, all the details on the screen behind me. You can either send them directly into me on social media or you can sign up and become one of our BBC weather watchers. Quite a repetitive forecast over the next few days. We've got high pressure keeping things dry and settled. There'll be variable amounts of cloud tomorrow, but I am hopeful that there'll be a little bit more sunshine, particularly first thing tomorrow morning. This is our area of high pressure. It's shifting slightly to the north, and then that's pulling in cooler northeasterly winds over the next couple of days, so temperatures have been a little bit down, but they will be kind of blocked off, if you like, over the coming days into the weekend. So high pressure will continue to dominate, settling our weather down and actually warming up a little bit Saturday and Sunday. Overnight tonight, a lot of the cloud pulling away, so under the clear skies, temperatures are going to drop to about 6 or 7 degrees. It could be quite cool first thing tomorrow morning in one or two rural spots, so you might want an extra layer or two. Early morning sunshine, giving way to a little bit more cloud as we head through to the afternoon, but still broken clouds, so some bright or sunny spells as we head through to the afternoon. Temperatures 18 or 19 degrees, which is pretty spot on for the time of year. As you can see on the air mass, we're not really in those oranges much over the next couple of days. Saturday and Sunday, we might start to move into a slightly milder air mass where we could return back to around 21 or 22 degrees Celsius. And dry and settled into the start of next week, but some uncertainty. We've got ex-Hurricane Erin messing up our weather charts a little bit for next week. Some wet and windy weather is on the way, just uncertain as to when it will arrive. Not for Friday though, a dry day on Friday, quite thick cloud first thing Friday morning. Into the afternoon it will brighten up slightly, 19 or 20 degrees. And then the outlook is looking pretty decent for the August bank holiday weekend. Monday, dry, plenty of sunshine. Into next week, though, wet and windy for a time, Rog.
Sorry, Abby, thank you very much indeed. I just need to show you some pictures before we go. We've got some fantastic pictures of some dolphins which were spotted just off the coast of Barrow.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing to see. There were 25 of them, which went alongside the boat of Terry Fitzpatrick, who was sailing. He's been sailing for 50 years and says he's never seen anything like it.
No, I can imagine. Did you know dolphins have names for each other as well?
Do
like
they?
Individual little whistles, yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.
No, it's like a little...